Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Experiment Zone podcast. I'm AJ Davis. I'm the host. And on today, we have Ken Kwiatkowski from the Grasshole Systems Company. He's going to be talking about his business, how he invented a really innovative product, and now how he's marketing it out to all types of people who really should consider some lawn protection for their sprinklers. So stay tuned as we do a live conversion audit. Grab your notebook. You'll have some great notes for yourself as well. Ken, thanks so much for being on today. We're really excited to talk about what it is that you do. Why don't you introduce yourself and your company?
My name's Ken Kwiatkowski. I'm with Grasshole Corporation. Grasshole, the most revolutionary patented sprinkler head protection product, veteran-owned, manufactured locally in Florida, voted number one sprinkler head protection by Best of Best.
What is sprinkler head protection? Tell us about that.
Well, most people traditionally know what a cement donut is. They go around your sprinkler head protected. So I solved my own problem. The cement donuts, they sink, they crack, they fall apart, and they really don't serve much purpose than maybe somewhat protecting your sprinkler head. But I've invented the Grasshole and patented it where it has multiple function. Helps keep your sprinkler heads lined. Helps the disc section of it helps keep grass from growing over your sprinkler head, as well as it's fully customizable. Where if it's near your driveway or sidewalk, you can customize it to fit in those areas.
Awesome. What kind of customers do you work with? Like, who's looking for this product or who needs it and doesn't know they need it?
Everybody needs it. It not only protects against lawnmowers, weed whackers, and stuff like that, it also protects against snow blowers and snow plows. My northern people in Utah and New England can testify to that, protecting their sprinkler heads through the winters.
A little bit for everyone. Anybody with a sprinkler, it sounds like, is the answer.
Yes, it will accommodate any sprinkler head up to 3 inches. I'm looking to possibly, if I had more of a demand, make bigger ones, so it would encompass maybe 5-6 inch sprinkler heads. But that's more for industrial golf courses and so forth.
Got it. So just to clarify, like your audience is really homeowners or renters who have sprinklers at their personal homes, not so much on the business B2B side.
Well, hotels, property management companies, commercial applications, and commercial buildings, they're all using, sprinkler heads in their facilities.
Great. So tell me a little bit about how you reach these people. How do you tell people about what you're doing? How do they find you?
We promote a lot on Facebook and Google, as well as we have a YouTube channel with plenty of videos there. So, and as well as LinkedIn for the business portion. So we do have I do have some resellers that resell for me. And I mean, we're on other platforms that I allow them. They have exclusives on to resell.
What about the website itself? How does that fit into the overall business ecosystem? Are you fully e-commerce? Do you have other channels that people can purchase from you?
A lot of people, yes, I do have a website. It's www.grassholesystem.com, where consumers can go and purchase there, as well as I have a link where people can contact me for bulk sales, whether they're contractors or the government. I am trying to get on a few military bases. If I get one, a college university, that'd be another one. I'm working with a school over in California right now. They're looking to a school district. They're looking to purchase them for their whole school district. So if you get one, then you could just take that formula and just repeat it for other people as well. So I do offer both discounts on bulk orders, is what I'm saying.
I wanted to come back to something you mentioned earlier. So you said you were solving a problem you had. Tell me a little bit more about your origin story. What was the problem? How did this come about?
I was sitting there. It's like these cement donuts. They're not good enough. I mean, I had 3 of them stacked around one sprinkler head. Actually, on several sprinkler heads in my yard. It's like these sank and they're falling apart as I'm pulling them out. It's like we got to come up with a better product here. And I was thinking, it's like, well, we got the grass in Florida at St. Augustine. It grows sideways. So I had sprinkler heads, and maybe once a year I have my sprinkler maintenance guy come out and let's find these heads. You dig around them and it's like, Okay, then they disappear after a while. I was finding sprinkler heads. We just went through my yard recently, and I had one of the solenoids that were bad, and we found a whole zone that needed to get a new solenoid. Then I put grass holes all around them, so I knew where they were.
So tell me about that piece of it. How does it help you? Why does it matter that you should know where they are? How does that help customers?
You need to know how they're running. First of all, you find a lot of sprinkler heads that are tilted this way. They're not covering the grass properly. You're wasting a lot of water and you're paying for it. And in addition, I mean, you got landscapers coming through, cutting your yard. You don't know if your sprinkler head's even functioning right. It could be crushed by the lawnmower or the blade or whatever have you. I like to know where my sprinkler heads are. A lot of people like to not see them, but with the grass growing over them, they may not pop up the way they should be popping up.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really getting to the root of the problem, which is if you use the Grasshole system, you're going to save money on water that you don't need, right? You don't need to be spending money on water or using water you don't need, and you make sure your sprinkler system's really truly working for you. Is that what it boils down to?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of sprinkler heads when they do new home construction. These guys that install the sprinkler systems, they don't necessarily understand, why are you putting it so close to a driveway? Why are you putting it so close to a sidewalk? These are problems that cars are running over them, Amazon trucks are running over them, the foot traffic and so forth. And that's why you need to protect your sprinkler heads in those key areas. And mine are near my driveway. I don't understand. I don't know why they didn't just put it in the middle of the yard and then 360 it, or near another edge that's, on the lawn next to my neighbors or something, and not near the driveway. It's just bad planning. I think, architecturally, when they're doing the design for the landscaping, there's when people put in new irrigation systems, they could plan it better. But when you're building new home construction, they're just putting these in. I mean, they're just building widgets. They got so many to do. Here's the plan, and they just install them. There's no hindsight, second thought onto putting them in a different place, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it sounds like you guys are really correcting for poor planning by other people potentially as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to switch into our conversion review of your website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen. And before we hopped on today, you mentioned that you guys are rebranding. So I wanted to give you a moment to talk a little bit about the new website and how it came about.
Well, sitting with, I was in Nashville meeting with JT Fox, and we sat down, and he goes, Ken, Grasshole. What's a grasshole? And I go, well, it's the most revolutionary. He goes, no, really, come on. We got to think, you got to have something better. He goes, sprinkler guard. And we kind of Googled it, and we found that this is probably one of the key SEO search terms. And it's like, why don't we rename it? You need to rebrand. Let's call it sprinkler guard by Grasshole. And so subsequently, this is what we've done. And so this sprinkler guard website here basically mimics my Grasshole one. We're going to make a few changes, but the most part is it's the rebranding, and people understand, oh, sprinkler guard, I know what you're talking about. If I say Grasshole, they don't know what you're talking about. So sprinkler guard makes more sense. It's like there's other products on the market that more relay what the product is. So that's what we're trying to ensue on the consumer out. Oh, sprinkler guard. Okay. So let me look at this. Okay. It protects your sprinkler heads. This is what I'm looking for. People are not going to pull up Grasshole, because what kind of key search word is that? So
yeah. It sounds like you're just making it more customer centric. These are maybe the words that they're using themselves, and it gets closer to how they talk about it.
Correct. And it's either sprinkler protectors, sprinkler guards, lawn guards. There's a few key terms in SEO for this type of product.
Well, I'd love to dive in and do a live walkthrough of the current site. So this is the new sprinkler guard site, and just give some notes as I go through it. And I want this to be a conversation, so please jump in if you're agreeing, disagreeing, have other ideas. I think the first thing that stands out to me is you have a really clear product image above the fold, which is nice to see, especially if people haven't seen this type of product before. And then you say, sprinkler or protection for sprinkler heads. So you have the direct language of what it is you're getting right at the top of the page. So that's a great start.
We are adding, they are a little darker now, so we are updating some images on the website and so forth. We make them a little darker green now. People were saying, oh, they're too bright or whatever the case may be, and so we actually make them in a darker green now, so they blend better with yards. Grass is different colors in different parts of the area, but we are going with a darker green to blend in better.
Nice. From a conversion perspective, I think you have some nice call to actions like buy now, ready to save your sprinklers, click here. I would really tighten those up a little bit because I think the ready to save your sprinklers might even be one of the main points above in that main hero text over here. So maybe like protection for sprinkler heads, ready to save your sprinklers, and then the button could just say buy now to mirror this other buy now you have. I think we find in our experimentation that longer buttons kind of tend to get ignored or interacted with less because they don't look as clickable as more action-oriented, like single word or 2-word type actions there.
I definitely understood. It's like, is this going to take me to where I need to buy them? I don't understand why am I clicking on this button where versus buy now up there.
Yeah, and I think the buy now is great because it really does catch your attention. One other thing I noticed at the top is the order of your navigation. So one of the things we've observed at Experiment Zone is that people they tend to click the first category, then the second category second, third category third. So when we look at click tracking, we tend to see the most clicks on the things on the furthest to the left in the nav. And I would say for you guys, it's probably that you want shop for the most prominent position. So if I were you, I would take that shop and I'd move it to where the home is right now or to the right of home. A lot of companies don't use home anymore. They just use the logo to navigate back, and then shop could have that first position.
I agree with that. I think moving shop over to either next to home, I think would be prevalent.
Yeah, and I think that because you mentioned you've got a couple different types of audiences, it does make sense to have contractors or government or these other use cases called out in your navigation. You might consider taking blog out. Typically, the way that we try to draw traffic to the site with the blog is to land on a blog page before then coming into shop. So we often will remove that and just have it in the footer and let people flow through more naturally through the site and then keep a little more space at the top for shop.
Understood.
So I'm taking a look at your shop page. So I'm seeing I get some choices here about the size of the packaging, the option about the bulk order. Great. So I'm anticipating you have 2 different product pages, one for the 5-pack and one for the 10-pack. Is that true? Is that how that's set up?
That's how I sell them. You got the 5-pack you could buy, kind of like a starter pack if you're not really sure. But your best bet is buying at least 20 so you get the free shipping.
Gotcha. And tell me a little bit about how many sprinkler heads most people need to protect, or how many do people have?
I'm going to say 20 to 30 in their yard at a minimum.
Okay.
And then some people only want to protect the ones near their driveway or sidewalk, so they may only buy a 5-pack. But if you really want to do it, you buy the whole kahuna.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that decision. So if somebody wanted to, why might someone want to just protect some of them versus all of them?
I can't, answer what a consumer is thinking. Some of them, a lot of them will buy 20, then come back and buy another 20. I got people in Texas, they buy 100. Well, I need a few more. They'll come back, they'll buy another 80.
A few more. That's very Texas of us. I live in Austin, so that sounds true.
They're always buying, 1 to 200 down there. In Florida, normally it's around 20 to 40. Most yards, like I said, in Florida, probably about 25 or 30 units. So
it's really yard dependent for how many sprinklers they currently have versus like that they may not want to protect all of them versus some of them. Is that typically how most people are thinking about it?
I think so. And I like to know where all my sprinkler heads. different, you got the pop-ups that come through the grass, but if you have the rotary ones, I want to know where all my rotary sprinkler heads are. And they really need to be free and clear of any grass or whatever the case may be. I know some irrigation guys, you don't need this if your irrigation systems are properly installed. Well, problem is they're not. That's the bottom line. Irrigation systems are not properly installed in new housing or even some commercial applications. Yeah, they cover all the grass, but the heads are not put in the correct places, unfortunately, and subject to damage and foot traffic and getting run over, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that one of the just a small piece of feedback here is because of the way the page is laid out, it is hard to start to see the products without scrolling down to start to see them. So if you reduce the size of the shop sprinkler guard at the top here and this white space, then we could start to see the products right away without having to scroll down here. And that would help people then start to compare, what are the differences here? I think it's pretty clear that it's 5 versus 10 and that there's a discount as you scale up. So I think in terms of like the layout itself and the decision here, it makes a lot of sense to have it this way. And then when we go to the product detail page, I see a lot of good basics here. So we've got the title, we've got reviews, we've got free shipping on orders over 100. I actually want to stop and talk about this a little bit because you mentioned that's a big motivator, or that would be a recommendation, is to kind of purchase enough so that you get that free shipping threshold. And I see that you have limited time free shipping at the very top here on orders over 100. So you nicely have it repeated in both places. You also have it sticky here, which means I can be reminded of that throughout my experience. So I like to see that. Now, what I'm curious about is if I add to cart, if that message is going to change. So I'm going to try it out and see what happens. Okay. So a recommendation here, just to level up what you're already doing, would be to change that messaging to say you're getting closer, right? You're $60, you're $40 away, $39.99 away from free shipping. And that type of additional like dynamic messaging often motivates people to, one, look at that section because now something's changed in that section, and then two, see that they're really close to something free, which is very motivating. And then same kind of notes here on the cart. I would kind of tighten up all this space just so that you can see everything you need right away here. The copy here, instead of proceed to checkout, could just be simple and say checkout. And then in the checkout itself, similar feedback, but it looks like you've got a pretty standard journey here, clear pricing. This might be another place to, message about free shipping, or to have the upsell is to talk about, oh, I'm here and I'm going to have some sort of shipping tax, or I'm sorry, shipping fee. That could be a nudge to go back and add another one to cart. Would you like to add a 5-pack? Would you like to add a 10-pack to get that free shipping?
What was also mentioned is all the veteran organizations that I support. Somebody said that I should, maybe recapture that and put it on the buy page as well.
On the which page? The buy page?
Yeah.
The upsell, the like free shipping message, you mean?
No, I mean, we got a lot of white space here, and I don't know if it makes a difference to people. And some people love that it's veteran owned, and I sponsor a lot of veteran organizations and some not-for-profits, whether to regurgitate that here as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually think it's a really good thing for companies to think about what their differentiator is. And it sounds like that is one for you, right? You have veteran-owned, manufactured on the box. That may be a reason people are purchasing from you. It may be the free shipping threshold. It may be that you're the best in the business, right? There might be different reasons that people purchase from you versus another company. One of the ways that we want to remind people of those reasons, or one of the places we can do that, is under this add to cart. So if you may think about other shopping experiences where you'll see 3 icons down here, or 3 comments of, free shipping, veteran owned, manufactured in the USA. Those types of details could be very motivating and kind of finalize the sale there on the product page. So you could add it here, and then I would also consider adding it in checkout as a reminder under the place order button. So these are the reasons you're buying. Just as a reminder, this is why you're buying from us. Oh yeah, and just before you order, we're reminding you again, these are the reasons. And those may or may not be, kind of to your question, should it be veteran-owned? Should it be Mary's manufacturer? Should it be something else? That's a great variable to do experimentation on.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, are there a couple things from our conversation today that come to mind as things that you definitely want to reevaluate or experiment with going forward?
Well, obviously, I think the shop icon at the top of the page needs to move. Maybe we don't need home as much as we think we do. Even if we left home, that the shop will be right next to it, so we clearly identify with that. Modifying some of the fonts here, I think it'd be key. I mean, changing that green box to purchase, so it mimics the other one, because people don't know, hey, if I click on this, where's it taking me? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's, and I forgot what, I'll pull that up in a minute here on mine and look at that and go with my notes, and we go from there. So there's a few subtle things that we need to do here. And it's just trying to get to the next level at this point with my company. I'm open to somebody if they want to, an exclusive agreement where they want to use my patents and pay me X and royalties in perpetuity. I'm open to that as well. So looking for other distributors and wholesalers, as long as they don't cross over the agreements that I have with other people, we're all good.
Great. Well, Ken, thanks for being on today. If people are interested in getting in touch with you, to partner with you, to purchase your products, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, there's that link right on my website for government and contractors. They can send me a message there. And, and put their phone number, and I'm happy to call them. Then that's how I got in touch with a lot of people. And the school district in California, particularly, I'm working with right now, they're looking to purchase 1,000 units for their district as a start and go from there.
Great. Well, thank you, Ken. We really appreciate you sharing your business with us and giving us a chance to give some feedback to everyone watching today as well. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank you for tuning in to the Experiment Zone podcast. You can check out more episodes on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and your favorite podcast apps. Check out the show notes for any websites linked in this episode, including where to connect with us on social media. We appreciate you tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you'll be updated of each episode release. And visit us at experimentzone.com for all podcast updates as well. Appreciate you dropping by.